Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Spiritist talk tonight. My name is Publio. I'm gonna sing a couple of songs to prepare ourselves, to prepare our environment for the night, the special night. So we're gonna talk about the gospel of Jesus Christ. So everybody's welcome. Vibrate. When life lends a hand, it's time to open up your heart. It is time to love one another. It's time to take part. Vibrate always, loving and serving everyone. Vibrate always, loving and serving everyone. When we give our heart in charity, our lives are transforming into songs. Our dreams become reality. And we join Jesus for eternity. Vibrate always, loving and serving everyone. Vibrate always, loving and serving everyone. When we give our heart in charity, our lives are transforming into songs. Our dreams become reality. And we join Jesus for eternity. Good old man. Blue crystal eyes, colors of the sky. Green bushy beard, Santa's look alike. Shine on your brothers on earth, suffering, living joy, or in pain. Crystal eyes, color of the sky. Green bushy beard, Santa's look alike. Shine on your brothers on earth, suffering, living joy, or in pain. Bezerra de Menezes, Apostle of the good, receive our prayers and also our heart. Bezerra de Menezes, Apostle of the light, place our pain at the feet of Jesus Christ. Bezerra de Menezes, Apostle of the good, receive our prayers and also our heart. Bezerra de Menezes, Apostle of the good, place our pain Christ. Calm me down. If I close my eyes to pray, I heard the sound of sea far away. If I close my eyes to pray, Jesus cradles me, in his arms I sway. Maria harmonizes how well done the hay. Music lifts his spirit's sweet ballet. Nature's love, a constant giveaway. In joy, in peace, my heart's find its way. If I close my eyes to pray, Jesus cradles me, in his arms I sway. If I close my eyes to pray, Jesus cradles me, in his arms I sway.
Another day, another flower, another minute past the hour. Someday the sky is blue, and suddenly we can't see through. And every day is a fresh new start. When the sun turns off the moonlight, we get another chance to choose the road we want to cruise. And on the other side of the mountain, there's always a whole new road, a new beginning calling after every end. There are a million reasons to pick you up after every fall. It's always a win in the new round. On the other side of the mountain, there's always a whole new road, and a new beginning calling after every end. And there are a million reasons to pick you up after every fall. It's always a win in the new round. It's always a win in the new round. It's always a win in the new round. It's always a win in the new round.
When I go in to pray, I look for my good Jesus. And when I close my eyes, I can feel all His light. I open my heart for all He has to say. He shows me the best way I can enjoy my life. Jesus, Jesus, they never we apart. Please bring all your light to shine inside my heart. Jesus, Jesus, I can be content. I have your endless love and your protecting hand.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our Spiritist Talk. We are very happy you are here. Thank you for joining us. Before we start, we would like to share a couple of announcements. We ask you to turn off your phone notifications and find a quiet place if that is possible. Our meeting will have a 30-minute presentation followed by Q&A. Then after the presentation, we will have a spiritual treatment with acids and magnetized water. So we invite you to set aside a container with water to be magnetized. Our meetings are also being retransmitted today by Continental Concafres Americas through their Facebook and will be also every Wednesday at 8 p.m. by Kardec Radio through their Facebook and YouTube. And for those who want to learn more about Spiritism, Get to Know Spiritism is a free and online course that happens every Saturday at 5:15 p.m. Eastern. New classes will be starting in fall. More information will be given soon. Stay tuned. If you don't know, we offer virtual gospel at home. The gospel at home is an effective support for you and your family's spiritual harmony. We will motivate and guide you in establishing and maintaining the gospel at home study meetings. If you are interested, post in the chat and we will follow up with you. You are welcome to include your or someone else's names on our list of positive vibrations, either incarnate or discarnate. The person you indicate will be assisted by good spirits to provide healing energy and strengthen goodwill. Please find the link in our chat. And an awesome news, we would we would also like to let you know about an upcoming event, Alta de Souza Fraternal Meeting on 18 and 19 of May in Oshawa, Ontario. The main topic is Workers of the Last Hour. And the other topics include Spiritism Center, Alta de Souza Fraternal Campaign, and practical activities. More information and links for registration will be posted soon. And the topic of today's meeting will be Observe the Birds in the Sky, items 6 to 8 from chapter 25, Seek and You Shall Find, which will be facilitated by our brother Rodrigo from Winnipeg. It seems I'm hosting a lot of Rodrigo's talks. Everyone is welcome to write comments and questions in the chat, and we will address the questions at the end of the chat. And now, without further ado, I would like to summon tonight's speaker, Rodrigo, who will also be doing our opening prayer. Welcome, Rodrigo. How are
Hello,
you?
hello, Rodrigo.
We need to refer to one another with your family names, I think.
Hello, Farias.
Good stuff. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Wonderful. So happy to be hearing another talk from you. So I wish you very good luck, and I will see you again by the end of your talk.
Thank you very
Bless you.
much. Yeah, I'm very happy to be here. It's nice to have the opportunity to talk about the gospel of Jesus. And before we start, I'd like to start with our opening prayer and ask you to concentrate, elevate your thoughts, and closing your eyes if you wish. Take a deep breath in and out, relaxing, removing all the worries from this day, that we can focus on the teachings of our Master and the lessons. Dear Jesus, spiritual friends, spiritual mentors of this work, bless all of us tonight, speaking about your teachings. Please inspire and illuminate us to receive the message. And this message can bring us understanding and consolation. Master, guide us during tonight's talks. And everyone that's listening, real time or on demand, receive the good energy from the highest, and reflect on the topic that are gonna be shared tonight. Master Jesus, spiritual friends, stay with us today, tomorrow, and always. Guide us, inspire us, and help us to be better people, to become more evolved, spiritually speaking, and learn from the example. That's our master. Thank you very much for this opportunity of work and learning. Protect us and help us to have a night that we feel much better, that we feel complete and satisfied with all the opportunities and blessing that we receive. So be it. So let's get started. I'm going to share my screen with you. And as mentioned before, as Rodrigo Farias mentioned, the topic of tonight's speak is from the chapter 25 and is called Seek and You Shall Find. And the specific topic is called Observe the Birds in the Sky. And tonight, Jesus and Kardec invite us to reflect deeply on this topic and help our understanding about sometimes topics that can be perceived as contradictory or not as clear. And I wanted to remind you, when we are studying, we always have to think on a spiritual level. So we have to look at this and Jesus' teachings with our spiritual lens, not the materialistic lens. And I would like to start the talk tonight with this reflection. And this reflection is based on the Gospel of Matthew, so 6:19 to 21, 25 to 34. And before I start dig deeper on that reflection, I would like to remind you that Jesus always used parables. I know that I say this all the time when I'm talking, but I think it's always good for us to remind that he used parables to teach highly elevate moral concepts, using analogies with topics related to people's daily living, activities, nature, and cultural context of that time. So when you think about this first message, Jesus is telling to people, do not accumulate treasure on earth where rust, worms corrupt them, where the thieves unbury and steal them, but create treasures in heaven, where neither rust nor worms corrupt. For whatever your treasure is, there is your heart also. And if you were here last week, Larissa covered about this passage, and I'm just making this link between last week and this week. Jesus here is really the main message is a comparison between material values and spiritual values. That's why he's saying, do not accumulate treasures. The treasures, think about possessions. And he's not saying that you don't need to have possessions. It's really more understanding the value of it things. Here, Jesus is counterpointing, okay, so do not accumulate treasures because you don't need more than that. On the other hand, create treasures in heaven. What that really means is work on the spiritual values. Think about everything that you can bring after your discarnation to the other side. So if you think about, oh, I have 10 cars, are you going to bring them to the spiritual life? I have 3 houses, are you going to bring them? And I'm not saying they're not important. It's not the point. The point is how much value you put on our material side of things and the spiritual side of things. And as you know, as a great teacher and mentor, Jesus' teachings were according to the spiritual level of his followers. That's why he needs to use parables. And you're going to see a lot of this talk about nature. So when you look at Jesus in this continuation of the passage, you say, thus I say to you, do not be anxious about where you find something to eat for the sustenance of your life, or where you get clothes to cover your body. Is not life more than food, and the body more than clothing? So let's try to dissect this message. Again, here, Jesus is making a clear distinction between temporary and permanent acquisitions. One, he's used clothing and food as an example of needs of material existence. And he's not saying that is not needed. He's just asking. And by asking, he's promoting this reflection. It's not life more than food and the body more than clothing. And remember, those temporary acquisitions are related to material life, and permanent acquisitions are related to immortal life, the spiritual life. So, by questioning, Jesus is inviting us to this reflection. It's a powerful question if you dig deep. Is not life more than food and the body more than clothing? And if you think that if life is more than that, why we are focused more on material life? Could this be a reason for our anxiety? Should we find a balance between material and spiritual acquisitions? And how much time are we investing on spiritual acquisitions? This is the reflections behind this question that Jesus is asking us. And he continues in his passage. And he used allegory saying, observe the birds in the sky. They neither sow nor reap, nor do they store anything in barns. But your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not worth much more than they? And who among you, with all his effort, can increase his stature by one cubit? Here, Jesus is using an allegoric message to teach about trust and faith in God. Jesus is questioning and invites us to reflect. And he uses the nature as an analogy. For the birds, he's saying God provides what's necessary for them. Why God do not provide for us? God gave us intelligence and free will, which related to what God gives to birds. Birds work, so and that don't get us the message wrong here. Oh, birds don't do anything, they just fly around. No, they don't. They work, they build their nest, they feed their uh, I'm gonna call babies because the word doesn't come out of my mind right now. So they have tasks they do. And for us, we also have to work. That Jesus is not saying to us here in the message, yeah, don't do anything. Stay in your home, be there, doing nothing, then just pray for me and things gonna happen. That's not the point. We need to have a clear understanding that it's an invitation to reflect. And comparing us with the birds, just giving us a dimension. If God provide everything to the birds, why not gonna provide to us? And we have to believe what's the problem? We want to solve all our problems in once as fast as possible. But the question becomes, is this reality? And then he continues and provide another example using nature. Moreover, why are you anxious about clothing? Observe how the lilies of the fields grow. They neither work nor spin. Nevertheless, I declare to you that Solomon himself, in all his glory, was ever dressed like one of them. Thus, if God has taken care to clothe in such a manner on herb in the field, which exists today and tomorrow, you'll be cast into fire. How much more care you'll be taking in clothing you, O man of little faith. So see the analogy again is the nature and what people knew that time. And he's showing like even the lilies that the end of the day will be burned is taken care of. It's showing that this comparison using nature make his point that we should trust and have faith in God, in the providence. But nowadays, why are we are so anxious? Why we want to resolve any issue of our lives in a blink of an eye? Why we're not listening the teachings that show us, hey, trust and have faith that will come to you what you ask in the right moment, in the right time. So, and the message continues with Jesus saying, therefore, not do not be anxious, saying, what will eat, or we will drink, or what you wear, as do the pagans who seek after all these things, because your Father knows what you need. So here Jesus is showing us that if we have faith, if we trust providence, we don't need to be anxious. It's just a matter of time. But the question to us, are we ready for waiting the right time in the right moment? Or we want to impose our time and our needs to God and then start blaming. So we need to reflect deeply because this has changed the way that we understand and we live and make choices. And Jesus continues, therefore, seek first the kingdom of God and his rightness, and all these things will be given to you in abundance. So do not be anxious for tomorrow, for tomorrow will take care of itself. Each day has enough evil of its own. In this passage here, Jesus teaches us to live the present, not the future. work today to build tomorrow. What are the consequences of focus on too much on the future? Jesus is giving us instructions to find balance and peace. First, see the sentence, first seek the kingdom of God, and what that really means behind harmony, love, and peace. Who's not seeking for that? Where can we find them? Harmony, love, and peace. You can say to me, oh, Rodrigo, I know the answer. Pick me, pick me, pick me. So, in heaven, great answer. Where is the heaven? Is not the hell in heaven inside us? Is not our thoughts, feelings, and attitudes that bring us to our hell or our heaven? Is not Jesus challenge us to think beyond? Let's take a look at Kardec analysis because it's quite fascinating how intelligent Kardec is. Kardec started to think about what's the interpretation someone reading those passages from Jesus could have. And he is using a very interesting approach because he uses logic to analyze the meaning and try to make the context to see, well, this is making sense or not making sense. So Kardec stated like, take it literally. These words would be the negation of all foresight in labor and consequence of all progress. Remember, if we say just observe the birds in the sky, so then if you look at this very shallow way, you're not going to understand the meaning. To me, it's like looking at iceberg. So when you see iceberg, so you just see the top of the iceberg. You have no idea what's under the water until you go under the water to see. Kardec is doing that. So you see the top of the iceberg. Let's dig down and see, because what that really means, what's this message? And what's the problem? If you take this literally, like Kardec's saying here, you may be misunderstanding the message because you're looking in a material way, but the message in a spiritual way is a spiritual meaning behind. So Kardec continues, with such a principle, humans would reduce themselves to expectant passiveness. And he's correct in that analysis, in a material point of view. Their physical and mental powers will remain inactive because you're not doing anything. And Kardec continues, because he's quite smart, if such had been their normal condition on the earth, they would have never left the primitive state. So, which means if we don't have problems, challenges, if we don't work, we don't seek for improvement, if we don't use our intelligence, you'll be still in the cave ages. So, and if it were to become the law today, they would have nothing more to do than to live in idleness. This could not have been Jesus' thought, because it would be in contradiction with what he said elsewhere and with the laws of nature themselves. God created humans with neither clothing nor shelter, but gave them intelligence to make them. So here Kardec is really showing, if we analyze in the surface, we misunderstood the message. We have to dig. And Kardec, of course, guess what? He digs. And when he digs, he starts. Therefore, one should see in these words only a poetic allegory of providence, which never abandons those who put their trust in it, but which wills that they have work alongside. If providence does not always come to them with material help, it inspires them with ideas with which they may find the means of freeing themselves from their difficulty. So Kardec is showing here a way more broad understanding of help. Because when we generally how we ask help to God or Jesus or uh, Mary or some Pope independently is always when you're suffering. Not always, most of the time. Always is too radical. But most of the time when they're suffering in pain. But how we ask, that's the point. I cannot ask God or Jesus or whatever uh, entity you want to ask. Please take this problem away from me. Please make me not feel the pain. Please, doesn't work that way. Because imagine that every time that we have any issue, we go to God, say, God, please take this away from me. And He does. And then about this, about that. So just think about a kid. So if you do everything that kids want, what kind of person you creating? We are not God, but we are wise as a parents. And even if you don't have kids, you don't give everything to everyone without effort. And that's Kardec is showing here. So if you trust, you've been given to you, but you have work for it. Doing nothing is not going to help. And he continues, God knows our needs and provides for them according to what is necessary. Is that clear? What is necessary is not what I want when I want. And if you don't do that, I get mad at you, and then I don't think you are reliable anymore. Then we are behave like a 5 years old, 5 years old, spiritually speaking. We have to understand that God is gonna provide according to what's necessary. Unfortunately, sometimes we don't know even what we are asking. However, humans, look at this, and this Kardec is touched in a very delicate point that we need to reflect. However, humans, insatiable in their desires, never know how to be content with what they have. Let's stop for a moment there and reflect. Is Kardec telling us the truth? That's sometimes how we behave. And then Kardec continued. The necessities are not enough for them. They need to the superfluous. It is then that the providence leaves them to themselves. Remember, it's a choice, it's a free will. Nobody's abandoned. Sometimes we abandoned what needs to be done. They are often unhappy due to their own fault and for having disregarded the voice that warned them in their conscience. And God allows them to suffer the consequences so that they may serve as a lesson for the future. So Kardec here is showing us there is a law of cause and consequences. And most of the time, we are chosen, even though sometimes we know the choices are not the most appropriate. But sometimes we still insist. Why? Because sometimes it's just our ego and our pride. We don't want to change. I want to do my way. It'll be on my time when I want. And then we disregard all the help that God provides. And remember that help that God provides could be many forms. And one thing that I used to say that I like it, that God used to help humans with other humans. We always think about angels. Maybe the angels is in your side and you don't even notice. Sometimes it's your wife, your spouse, your one friend of yours, sometimes your kids, sometimes a strange, but always present themselves. If we are connected, we're going to receive the message. But how we are living our lives? Are we are connecting? And Kardec say here, the earth will produce enough to feed all its inhabitants when, according to the laws of justice, charity, and love for the one's neighbor. So basically, he's saying, when we are just and we charitable enough, that we care uh, uh, of other people as much as we care about ourselves, and we love them as brothers and sisters, people know how to manage the provisions. It gives to them. We are far from that reality yet. When fraternity reigns among all people, and it does among the provinces of the same country, it's more likely. Doesn't mean that always happens. The temporary surplus of one will make up for the temporary insufficient of another, and each will have what's needed. So you can see this closer when we are in Canada, for example. So I'm sure the Ontario population will not be happy if Manitoba is living in a misery. And I'm sure that the federal government is going to try to balance out. Of course, it's way more complex than that. And sometimes it doesn't happen. We still find discrepancy, but this is not because it needs to be that way. We need to think about what's the cause. And most of the time, the causes relate to our decision based, based on selfishness and pride. Kardec continues, the rich will then regard themselves as those who possess a large amount of seed. If they scatter, it will produce 100-fold for themselves and for others. But if they consume the seed by themselves, if they waste it and allow the surplus of what they have consumed to be lost, the seed will produce nothing, and there will not be enough for everybody. If they hoard in their barns, the worms will devour it. So the message here that Kardec's trying to show, and that's related to this teaching, abundance comes when you share. Abundance is going to come when you look ourselves as brothers and sisters. And I know some people are is a dreamer. Someone needs to dream, because dreams, as Publi used to sing, dreams become reality. And we need to dream this dream. Why? Can we imagine living in a planet like that, where the rich helps those that are more in need, where the strongest protect those that are not as strong? Why not to think about a planet like that? Because that's the destiny. So God created us for a purpose, and I'm sure it wasn't for suffering. The suffering is on our account. And then Kardec said, that's why Jesus said, do not accumulate treasures on the earth, which are perishable, but create treasures in heaven, because they are eternal. In other words, do not attach more importance to material possessions than spiritual ones, and know how to sacrifice the former on behalf of the later. This message here is just telling us the big message of Jesus. Find a balance between material and spiritual life. And invite us here a reflection. How much are we dedicating ourselves to the material and the spiritual life? Can we consider that we have a balance? Because where is our heart is our treasure, or vice versa. Your treasure is when your heart is. Now, think about if I'm extremely materialistic. That's where my heart will be. And what's the consequence? I want more and more and more. And this become my goal of life. And then I become more and more selfish. And then I start to lose my ability to perceive others. And that's what Jesus is telling us. Do not accumulate treasures. And then charity and fraternity are not decreed by law. If they are not in the heart, selfishness you always steal them. If it is the labor of Spiritism to enable them to enter the heart. And this is so beautiful because it doesn't matter what law we create in society. There is no way that you can input this by force. You have to feel it. When we have a charitable work and we feel happy that we donate our time to help others, and that fulfill us, that means it's in your heart. If you go there and don't feel anything, you're not ready yet. But guess what? Keep doing it because one day you're going to feel the feeling. And once you have that feeling, you're never going to forget. And you never want to stop again. And to finalize my talk, I wanted to remind you, observe the birds in the sky. Meaning, work. Trust and have faith and patience because God knows what we need and He will give to us. But remember, God give us what we need, when we need, and not when we want, when we want. Thank you very much for listening to me tonight, and I'm open for questions if we have any.
Thank you for this wonderful talk, Rodrigo. Food for our spirits.
Yeah,
We do have some questions
good.
from yours truly. How does Spiritism help us cope with anxiety? And on a similar note, from our sister Marceli, how can Spiritism help us to trust more in God's will and timing when we have frustrated expectations or desires?
Those two questions are very important and very well. First, always go to the example. Who is the model? Jesus. What Jesus is telling us about anxiety. So we're spending millions and millions and billions of dollars with mental health. People get more anxiety and more depression. And Jesus is people really psychology is doing what Jesus said. One day each time. Because there is already evil enough in one day. So what Jesus is telling us, live the present, don't live the past nor the future. Because if you live the past, you don't move on, you not progress. If you live too far ahead, you don't live the present. And that's why it's called present, right? Because it's a gift, it's a present. So Jesus is saying, live today. How what Spiritism teach us? It teaches us to, if we get the teachings inside our hearts, we have to trust. We have to have faith, but more important, we have to work. And even more important, we have to change ourselves. So that's why self enlightenment is key. Is study to understand, apply. How? Charity. Then you're gonna learn that you may have more than you think, and your frustration expectation maybe will be reset, and you start to value what you have. Because sometimes you're just frustrated because you didn't have what you want, because you create a wrong expectation and timing. So that's, to me, the biggest lesson is balance. Jesus brought the balance between material life and spiritual life. And that's why it's their reflection. How much we're investing in our spiritual balance and our spiritual life. I know that everyone here, at least, if you're working, you spend 7 hours, 8 hours a day or more working. How much time we are using in our spiritual life? We need to reflect.
Very well put. I loved the present as a present. Nice. Another question from our very own Publio. As you said, everyone can be a God's messenger. Do we need to have a special power?
His power, the power to believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, the power to believe. You just need to be connected. I don't know you, but my personal experience, every time that I'm judging or my professional career or even my work with the Spiritism, that I doubt myself, I receive something for someone. And sometimes come from a WhatsApp message saying something. So that we just need to connect. What's the special power? Let's say this way, to be very romantic. Every one of us has a special power. Because think about, we are sons of God, the supreme intelligence, the supreme just power. We have the seed, we have special power, but when are we gonna decide let it grow? So just we being fed every single day with new opportunities, and that's the gift, right, of tomorrow. Because tomorrow never comes. You always have a chance.
Very good. Very good. That's all the questions we have. So, once again, thank you very much for the talk, my friend.
Thank you. Have a nice night. Thank you for having me.
You too. God bless you.
Bye.
Sorry, let's give me 1 second. And now we are going to move to the preparation for tonight's spiritual treatment. Pass is the transfusion of spiritual energy with the goal of assisting with our physical, emotional, and mental balance. Passes also help us to restore a state of harmony and peace by replacing negative energy with healthy, positive energy. In order to receive the best benefits from passes, please follow the audio instructions or just remain in prayer. You may close your eyes to help with mentalization. During the fast, the water you set aside will also absorb the spiritual energy that you and your family can benefit from. And we will now make a prayer in preparation for the fast, which is going to be our closing prayer as well. So I ask you to close your eyes and elevate our thoughts to Jesus. Father, thank you for the food our spirits received. Thank you for the opportunity to be here, to listen to your gospel. Thank you especially to Rodrigo, who prepared his talk, his presentation, who gave some of his time to enlighten us. I ask you, Father, to bless his house, his family, and help him overcome the challenges of his own life. Thank you for those who are with us today and those who are going to watch later this talk. We are happy and honored you are here. Bless, Father, the homes of all of those who are following, listening to us at the moment, and in the future, who will watch on demand. Help us to put in practice what we have just learned, to trust you, to do our part and trust you. Thank you once again. In your holy name, we pray, Father. Amen.
Let us now prepare ourselves for the moment of the passes and the magnetization of water. Let's now calm our hearts, breathing in and out. Pay attention to your body. Focus on your breath and let yourself be carried by this energy. Let your thoughts pass by without judging them. Let them flow. Allow this light to be the beacon that guides you, and allow these words to penetrate your energy. Make each word an anchor of gratitude, faith, and trust. With the purpose of healing, which takes away my faith, healing every feeling of separation, of pain, let it all dissolve in this moment, leaving only love, gratitude, and trust. We ask God for the presence of our guardian angel and the friendly spirits who welcome us into this enlightened environment of our Spiritist Center. We open our plexus of love and forgiveness by mentalizing a light surrounding our hearts. Find a quiet and comfortable place to begin the mentalization process. Remove all worries from your thoughts. We ask that during the pass you breathe slowly and deeply. Let your body relax and surrender yourself to a deep meditation. Calmly imagine divine energies in soft and colorful light surrounding you in an environment of peace and spiritual warmth. Entrusting God with your most intimate desires, Raise your thoughts to Jesus and the emissaries of the spiritual environment. The path begins with the cleansing of your soul. Imagine a waterfall of crystal clear water pouring over us, removing all the feelings that keep you away from faith and trust. Feel the energy of this water bathing you and deeply breathe in, feeling peace and harmony. Allow this water to wash away all the impurities and spiritual larvae, washing away all the sorrows and resentments, any feelings of hatred and revenge that hold us back and cause us harm, not only from this life, but past ones as well. Now visualize spiritual doctors around you, applying magnetic cleansing passes, sanitizing your spiritual body of all sadness and negative energy. Mentalize these negative thoughts and feelings being washed away, evaporating from your soul, like water evaporating into thin air, and being carried far away from your mind. Surround yourself with the faith that bathes your being, bringing clarity and lucidity, rebalancing every cell in your body. May the water envelop all pain and bring the clarity of opportunity that chooses peace. The answer arises in our hearts, freeing us from all evil and freeing all whom we have caused evil into and who have caused us evil, washing away all the connections that bind us. Even though we may not understand, we are freeing ourselves from all that causes us harm. Feel this cleansing penetrate your soul and release. Now that we are spiritually cleansed, imagine yourself surrounded by the light of love from the hands of Jesus. At this moment, sing words of faith and gratitude, being faithful to the light that exists in me, planted by the zealous Father. Imagine the sunlight that surrounds and enraptures, freeing us from the chains of everything that holds us down, strengthening your faith. Allow yourself to trust in this light, surrender to it, involved in pleasant feelings and feeling relieved to receive the strengthening lights. Mentalize your spiritual mentors now applying divine light for the strengthening of your mind and your emotions, leaving you feeling emotionally revitalized. Let us now mentalize the magnetization of this water. May we mentalize all the friendly spirits, magnetizing this water and filling it with everything that our bodies, minds, and soul need, so that it may be of help to us when we drink it after the Pass. Thank you, God.
And welcome back. Thank you for joining us tonight. We will be back next Tuesday here on Spiritism Canada and Continental Concaffras Americas at 8 p.m. Eastern, and next Wednesday on Kardec Radio at 8 p.m. Eastern. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube from Spiritism Canada and Spiritism Group Path of Light. Have you all a wonderful night. God bless you.
try. Build a bridge over troubled waters, fly. If that's all that you have left to do, I want more. I want more happy sunny days. I want more happy smiles on your face. Love sparkling the eyes. Tears no more. No more sorrows. No more bad days. No more cries. No more dark cold place. No more fear. No more fight. Someone told me long ago that life is just a long road. Sorry, babe, but life to me is way much more. No matter what it seems to be, it's always time to make a change. Sometimes all we need is only one more chance. So try. Build a bridge over troubled water, fly. If that's all that you have left to do, I want more. I want more happy sunny days. I want more happy smiles on your face. Love sparkling the eyes. Tears no more. No more sorrow. No more bad days. No more cries. No more dark cold place. No more fear. No more fight. I want more happy sunny days. I want more happy smiles on your face. Love sparkling the eyes. Tears no more sorrow, no more bad days. No more cries, no more dark cold place. No more fear, no more fight. Let the sun walk on the way, shine, shine. Let the sun of the